controversial new law is set to take place tomorrow in California, granting rights to transgender students in public schools. Students in grades K through 12 who identify as transgender will be allowed to use school bathrooms and play on sport teams consistent with their gender identity. Now, that law is the first of its kind in the United States, but could be suspended within just days. Lisa Leff reports on LGBT issues for the Associated Press, and she joins me now. Thanks, Lisa, for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Kristen.
So just set the stage for me, Lisa. What are schools doing to prepare for this law to take effect?
Well, they're doing a variety of things. Mostly they're just looking at their non-discrimination policies to see where they stand right now. But some of them are looking at their facilities to make sure that they have enough gender-neutral bathrooms or privacy screens in places where they might need it. They're looking at their overnight field trip forms to make sure that they have a place where students can indicate their gender identity. They are scheduling sensitivity training for coaches and teachers so they know to use the proper pronouns when referring to students. But mostly they're watching and waiting to see if this referendum qualifies.
And there is obviously a lot of opposition to it. I want to read you something that a Republican said. Republican State Senator Steve Knight said, "We don't know what's going to happen when kids come back from their holiday vacation. Are there going to be 15-year-old girls talking in the bathroom and in walks in a boy? What are they going to do? Scream? Run out?" I want to just get you to give us a sense of what the reaction has been to that. I know there's been quite a lot of pushback, but this is a really divisive issue still.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of it depends on what community you're in and what experience the schools might have already had in dealing with transgender students. Both San Francisco and Los Angeles have had policies like this in place for quite some time, and they say that they haven't had any problems with it. But there have been some other communities where students have expressed, including Sacramento, where students have expressed some concern about what's going to happen, particularly girls in the locker room, in the bathroom, and that sort of thing. There's also some parents that have tried to give statements to their local schools demanding privacy on behalf of their students. So again, I think a lot of it really depends on where the schools are and how much familiarity they have with transgender students.
Well, these groups who oppose this are going to launch a legal challenge. A conservative group called Privacy for All Students has collected hundreds of thousands of signatures to try to get a public vote to repeal the law. How likely is it that they will be successful and that Governor Jerry Brown would sign off on it if it got to his desk?
Right. Well, Governor Brown has already signed the law, but what the opponents of the law are seeking is a referendum to overturn the law. And normally it's very, very difficult to qualify a referendum for the ballot in California because you have to get 504,000 signatures and you only have 3 months to do it. Right now, it's very touch and go. It's going to be coming down to the wire. The counties in California are in the process of spot checking those signatures, and in order to for the referendum to make it, it has to have something like an 85% validity rate. Right now, it's at about 79%, which would trigger a full count of every signature. And we'll know more in the coming days. The counties have until January 8th to complete that spot check process, but right now they just have barely enough to trigger a full count of all the signatures.
All right, we will continue to watch this. Lisa Leff, thank you so much. Appreciate your being here.
Thanks for having me.